Today, we are crowning the best live national anthem performance of all time by dividing the country up into 8 different regions. There have been tens of millions of live performances of the anthem, and I listened to but I did wade through thousands of Super Bowls, inaugurations, and middle school gymnasiums to find the best. Millions of performances, 8 regional winners, 1 ultimate champion. Today we are celebrating the 250th anniversary of this country. I've broken the US into 8 different regions, and each one gets their own champion. Here we go, from sea to shining sea. Wait, that's the wrong song. Now, before we dig into the map, what is the single most important element of a national anthem? Let me know down in the comments. Now, let's start in the South. The musical history here is so deep that even our honorable mentions are absolute heavyweights. First up, Faith Hill at the 2000 Super Bowl. Now, backing a country artist with bagpipes is a massive risk, but her soaring vocals cut right through. This rendition was so powerful that it actually charted on country music after 9/11. In a viral 2016 video, Georgia educator Star Swain stood inside a crowded Lincoln Memorial and started singing a cappella. It's a raw, powerful, and absolutely breathtaking rendition. But our final honorable mention from the South goes to the Mississippi Mass Choir, who took the banner straight to church. This vintage tape starts with pure soul, the sheer power when the band kicked in, followed by the entire choir erupting on the rocket's red glare. If you've never seen the full video of this, I highly recommend checking it out. But our undisputed winner from the South is Chris Stapleton's 2023 Super Bowl performance. Rooted in country, but dripping with soul and blues, when he hits the words "banner yet wave," he does something really powerful. He stops just strumming the chords and uses his guitar to echo and harmonize with his vocal run. He essentially turns a solo performance into a bluesy duet between his voice and Telecaster, and it's absolute perfection. This performance was so powerful, it brought many grown men to tears on the sidelines. Let's add Chris to the map as our regional winner for the South. Are there any amazing performances from the South that I forgot? Let me know in the comments below. Now, moving up the coast to New England, where the music scene is rich, diverse, and deeply rooted. Our one honorable mention here goes to Michael Bolton at the 1990 World Series. He stripped away all of the production and used his signature crooner voice to deliver a standout a cappella performance. Taking the crown for New England is the first of 2 Lifetime Achievement winners on our map, the Boston Pops. The Pops literally have a century of banner performances under their belt. They started their annual free July 4th concert in 1929, a tradition that has always featured the anthem, often alongside incredible guest vocalists. While I'll highlight a specific performance that's a favorite of mine later in the video, their resume is unmatched, doing everything from local sporting events, playing for the 100th anniversary of the Statue of Liberty, to backing Mariah Carey at the Super Bowl. Now, what makes the Pops so iconic is how traditional they are, and over the last 100 years, the Pops have perfected this standard style. Our next stop is a little different because it isn't a single region. The non-contiguous areas of the United States don't share geography, a culture, or even a language. But despite that, and despite having the smallest population on our map, they have produced some truly spectacular honorable mentions and an absolutely legendary regional winner. First up is Alaska's very own Jewel. Her 2023 Indy 500 performance was highly polarizing. She uses her signature folk style to reimagine the melody. Despite the controversy, I find this to be an extremely beautiful rendition. I discovered Honolulu-based Taimane during my research for this video. Her ukulele version of the anthem is mesmerizing. The way she controls the dynamics, blending intricate picking, percussive mutes, and full strumming is incredible to watch. I'm pretty sure that player number 16 fell in love on the spot. But our winner of the best from the non-contiguous US is Jose Feliciano's 1968 World Series performance. Born in Puerto Rico, the 23-year-old took the field and completely changed the history of the anthem. This gorgeous performance was the first on a massive stage to truly individualize the song. He bent the melody, changed the chords, and most importantly, updated the time signature to 4/4. But at the time, the public absolutely lost their minds, and not in a good way. But for today, Jose is our non-contiguous champ and moves on. Heading back to the mainland, we drop right into the middle of the map. Oh, it's the Midwest. Historically, this region is an engine room of American music, built on deep roots of the gospel, Chicago blues, and Motown soul. Starting in Indiana with the Alexandria-based Gaither Vocal Band. But we're looking at a specific 2002 live performance. It's a masterclass in blending four-part harmonies, takes beautiful liberties in tempo, the way that it uses dissonant chords that melt perfectly into pleasant resolutions. Now looking at another Super Bowl performance from 2009 is Jennifer Hudson. This gospel-infused rendition perfectly highlights her massive power and beautiful vibrato. Now you've heard of Taylor's version, but get ready for the long version of the national anthem. Sandy Patty arranged a multiverse epic in the 80s that clocks in at a full 5 minutes. It has absolutely everything. A sweeping orchestra, endlessly held soprano notes, and maxima pomp and circumstance. But our winner from the Midwest and our second Lifetime Achievement recipient is Miss Aretha Franklin. Now the oldest recorded version I could find of her was from 1968 and the most recent from 2016. Across those decades, she sang it at the Super Bowl, national conventions, July 4th celebrations, football, baseball, basketball, boxing matches, you name it, she sang it there. She was never afraid to make the national anthem completely her own. Let's add Aretha to the map. This territory might be sparsely populated, and it doesn't have the distinct, singular musical heritage of a Nashville or Motown, but there is still incredible talent spread across the heartland. Our Great Lakes honorable mention goes to Chris Mann. Stepping into the high-pressure environment of a 2024 Lakers playoff game, he delivered a technically brilliant, crystal-clear vocal that absolutely hits the mark. But our Great Plains winner is Martina McBride from the 2009 AFC Championship. While singing it unaccompanied is the most common way to hear the anthem performed, it's incredibly hard to pull off well. Martina's powerhouse voice was perfect for this, making her the go-to for massive events in the 2000s. By sticking so beautifully to the traditional melody, she turns her solo into an open invitation, allows the entire stadium to participate. What makes this version stand out? Next, we cross over into the Southwest. It's a well-known rule that everything is bigger here, and the national anthem is no exception. The musical talent we found in this territory is absolutely massive. Now, it might surprise you to find that Beyonce is only an honorable mention here, and that proves how massive the competition is here. Backed by the U.S. Marine Band at the 2013 inauguration, she perfectly balanced the traditional melody with her own spectacular vocal runs. A truly masterful arrangement. Now, if you've listened to any acapella music in the last 15 years, 90% chance you are listening to our next honorable mention. Pentatonix, whose core members originally met at an Arlington, Texas high school, delivered an absolutely breathtaking performance at the 2023 College Football National Championship. Their signature blend, intricate harmonies, and complex vocal layering are totally on point here. Now, you might want to grab some Kleenex for our Southwest region winner. Phoenix resident and trumpeter Jesse McGuire took to the field for Game 7 of the 2001 World Series, less than 2 months after 9/11. Patriotism was at an all-time high, and Jesse came to deliver the performance of his life. It starts beautiful with the stadium singing along at top volume, but the energy completely shifts when he jumps the octave, combined with a perfectly timed flyover. The crowd absolutely erupts. You can literally see the weight of the moment in his eyes. His celebration at the end, entirely earned. I have watched this clip dozens of times in preparations for this video. It brings a tear to my eye almost every time. Now, pushing all the way to the Pacific coastline, as the undisputed entertainment capital of the world, this territory has an incredible amount of star power, and the vocal competition is fierce. Our first honorable mention is Seattle native Natalie Grant. She delivered an absolutely astounding a cappella rendition at the 2022 College Football National Championship. It is a high-energy performance that puts her incredible vocal power and pure tone on full display. Our final Western honorable mention goes to Jessica Sanchez. We've seen enough sports stadiums, so let's head on over to the White House. She delivers a spectacular, flawless vocal run, but honestly, the visual of her belting this out while a giant Easter bunny stands at attention in the background is just iconic. But our undisputed champion for the West is a performance that really transcends music and stands as a true cultural milestone. And that is Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock in 1969. His rendition is a complex mix of gorgeous, soaring guitar riffs and heavy, unapologetic protest. Hendrix famously manipulated his guitar and distortion to mimic the sounds of war. It's not always a pleasant or easy performance to listen to, but that's the point. It's raw, at times uncomfortable, but definitely an important part of the anthem's history. Closing out our map, we drop into our final territory, the Mid-Atlantic. And honestly, this region is just stacked with classic historic performances. First, we have Mark Anthony from the 2011 NBA Finals. It's the deep, compelling passion behind every single note that truly makes this performance memorable. And next we have opera superstar Renee Fleming singing in front of the US Capitol on July 4th, 2021. With that truly spectacular backdrop, her world-class soprano vocals brings a gorgeous classic weight to the banner. There are a few things more quintessentially American than a high school football game, and that's exactly where we find future country star Jackson Dean. Back in 2018, Jackson was just a high school senior. Decked out in his full uniform, he stepped out onto the field with his acoustic guitar and began strumming. The talent was immediately undeniable. Told the story of the banner in a way that you could actually feel through the screen. This performance didn't just go viral, it helped launch his career. From a high school football field, we head back to the biggest game of them all. Our undisputed victor for the Mid-Atlantic is, of course, Whitney Houston's iconic 1991 Super Bowl performance. Taking the field just 10 days after the start of Operation Desert Storm, this was a moment where national pride and anxiety were at an all-time high. The magic here is a flawless cocktail of Whitney's transcendent vocals and a legendary arrangement by jazz musician John Clayton. Clayton's brilliant arrangement created the perfect, spacious canvas for her voice to truly resonate, cutting through the stadium and cementing this as a defining, timeless performance for the ages. So our map is set and I am ready to spin, but before I do, pause the video, put in the comments, who do you think is going to take it all? Alright, we have our 8 regional champions locked in. But instead of just ranking them, we are settling this a fun way. A game of national anthem risk until only one ultimate champion remains on the board. I'm spinning this first wheel to choose our very first attacking region. And we are starting with the West, Mr. Hendrix himself. Now, because this is risk, they can only attack someone they share a border with. So let's give it another spin. And our first battle is Jimi Hendrix versus Jesse McGuire. So the rules for the first round are just a deep dive listen. Let's pull up the tape. Jimi Hendrix. I love the iconic opening of the song on these long, sustained electric, really beautiful. And this is our first kind of collision of national anthem mixed with the sounds of war that he's creating. And this part is going off the rails, but in the way that he intended. Okay, and let's switch over to Jesse McGuire. So clear. Great tone. It's easy to get lost in this. You can hear the crowd swelling behind him. Here we go. One shows the heights of American patriotism, while the other one is highlighting a lot of the turmoil and unrest over the Vietnam War and everything that was happening at that time. So I'm going to go based solely on what is a better listening experience here. Hendrix's version is a masterpiece, but I would listen to Jesse McGuire's trumpet version 99 times out of 100 over Hendrix. And so for that reason, Jesse McGuire and the Southwest do take over the West and conquer that area of the map. Congrats, Jesse. Let's move on. All right, we are moving on to the Great Plains region of the US. Let's take a spin and see what we got. So our challenge now is between Martina McBride and Aretha Franklin. And we will start with Martina McBride. I love the tone of her voice right there. This is another one where you can hear the hum of the audience singing beneath her. So she just adds little touches, but it's enough to distinguish this as her anthem and also allowing the audience to participate and to join in with her. Aretha Franklin has sung the Star-Spangled Banner at pretty much every possible venue. This one speaks to me in a way. Aretha, her vocals and her Yamaha keyboard, her voice is letting loose. This is peak 80s to me. Aretha is still being Aretha. The crowd's going wild. Very good. We have two very entirely different divas putting their best foot forward. I like Martina McBride's version. I think the iconicness of Aretha Franklin and her vocal chops totally takes this one. So Aretha wins, takes over the Great Plains region. Let's go to the next one. We're now heading over to the Mid-Atlantic region with Whitney Houston. Let's spin the wheel to see who is likely to be devoured by her. And we are at New England. We'll start with the challenger. An important piece of this anthem, as spectacular as it is, it's lip-sunk. It's lip-synced lip-synced. Whitney lip-synced this. This is known, they were very upfront about it. But again, I know that she can sing this live. And you'll notice she's not going far off the melody, but it's still very easy to sing to. Go USA. The Boston Pops have had hundreds of performances. My favorite performance of theirs is from July 4th, 1986. And so here they are playing in Liberty Park, joined by a choir made of every branch of the military. And this is the traditional anthem that you may love. The time and place of this really makes it stand out. Comparing that then against Whitney's, no shocker, I am going to pick Whitney Houston in this spot. She takes over the New England portion of the map. And we'll get to our last of the first round of 4 battles. Now we're moving on to the South region, and at this point in time on our map, it actually touches every region still on the board. Let's roll and see who is in this battle, and that is going to be Aretha Franklin in the Midwest. Just the sound of his Telecaster, and then following up with the sound of that grit in his voice. I love this little run he does here. I would be sobbing if I was on that field right now, getting ready for my big game, and I had to listen to this. Her voice is letting loose. Now these two performances, while being very different in a way, do share a lot of similarities. There's a current of soul going in both versions, and in both experiences it is a voice and an instrument. And for me, the winner here has to be Chris Stapleton. This version is just phenomenal, kind of a modern masterpiece for me. A well-deserved victory here as he swallows up the Midwest region of the map. We're now down to kind of our final 4, and before I started this, I picked what I thought were the best 5 seconds for each performance. I'm going to compare only those high points against each other. We are starting this round with the non-contiguous section. His version was one of the first on a large high-profile stage where an artist really put their own individual take on the anthem. Now first, we're going to roll to see who Jose is going up against, and we are going Jose Feliciano versus Jesse McGuire. The best 5 seconds of this version is when he starts singing. You hear how much he is making this his own. And now the 5 best seconds from Jesse McGuire. The first hard decision I feel like I had to make in this game. Jesse's version is powerful, but it's so hard to put that against what his version meant for the national anthem moving forward. So Jose swallows up the Southwest region, and he lives to fight yet another day. And so we are moving around back to Whitney Houston for our second battle in this round. And this, folks, is a big one. We have Whitney Houston going up against Chris Stapleton. Ooh, the power, that's going to be tough to beat, folks. And rock is regular. I always knew that if this matchup showed up, it was going to be a struggle for me. I don't know what to do. I think, folks, when I first had this idea, it felt very obvious that Whitney Houston would win this. I think I'm going to make the controversial choice here. Both of these, this is the same part of the song. They're both doing something amazing here. And I have to have a tiebreaker. And the tiebreaker is the fact that while I know Whitney could have done this live, I have to give it to Chris Stapleton here. I think the live vocal singing, Chris Stapleton takes over the Mid-Atlantic region. And we're to our final battle, Jose Feliciano versus Chris Stapleton. Kind of a comparison of just a vocal and a guitar. Maybe that's my thing. Maybe I just like that. Two gorgeous performances. To me on this one, I do think this one is a little bit easier than the last one. As much as I love both versions, our winner who takes over the entire map, maybe a bit of an underdog from the South, Mr. Chris Stapleton. Fill up the board. So, did I make the wrong call? I don't know. Let me know below if you think I totally botched that up. I think every version on here was truly fantastic. We watched a lot of great performances by very different artists. And maybe that's just the beauty of it. The anthem is a blank canvas. And not just for superstar artists to make their mark, but for everyday people to join together in a moment of unity. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it. If you want to see more holiday-based content throughout the year, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and check out this video too. Why not? Happy 4th.